Hello Gemini and welcome to your December 2022 General Clow card reading. Now this is going to be done using the Sakura cards, the Sakura Clow cards, and for this reading I pulled you 4 cards, each card representing a week in the month of December, so 1 card a week. So you got the snow, the cloud, the return, and the time. So for you Gemini, the month starts out a bit slow for you with the snow. Now, the snow card is about feeling lonely. It's a card about feelings of loneliness, feeling a little bit left out. It's a card of wanting to be socializing, wanting to be with a community of people, even craving to be in a community, craving socialization, but for whatever reason you aren't able to do so. And in that first week of December, you could be feeling a little bit lonesome. People might be busy, people might have things going on, so you might just end up being home alone or alone in your free time where you would normally be socializing. And for some reason at this time, it's really affecting you and you're feeling very emotionally burdened by, your feelings of loneliness and of wanting to be around other people. And it's not to say you normally get like this, but that's what I'm getting for the first week for you. Now, there are some blessings that come with being alone, and you can find comfort in solitary moments. You just have to change how you view your time spent alone. When we're alone, we can get a lot of things done without other people's opinions or other people's input affecting how we do what we do. We can do a lot of creative things. We can do a lot of solitary activities. We can find power in solitude. So really, time alone is a blessing. And this first week, can be a blessing if you make the most of it. You're not always found to be alone. So now that you are alone, you can make the most of your time. Especially when you know going forward that you're going to be alone at this time, it can help you to make the most of it. So when it comes, you'll basically already be prepared for it. You'll expect it, and you'll be able to make the most of that time, in solitude. And it's not to say you won't go out at all, you won't socialize with anyone. It's just kind of a general vibe that's kind of hanging around that first week. So that's the first week. The second week, you have a card called the Cloud. Now, the Cloud is a card that has to deal with different kinds of emotions, mostly emotions that are being kept inside, sometimes even bottled up a little bit. With this card, we see ourselves kind of keeping some things inside of ourselves. We see ourselves kind of wanting to make some changes, but feeling like we're a bit stuck in a rut. In the second week, you might have some clouded thoughts. You might have a little bit of negative thinking. You might have like a negative cloud looming over you a little bit. You might be overanalyzing a few things, and you might be letting bad thoughts run your life. And honestly, a lot of people get like this a lot of the time. We're all human. It happens to all of us. At this time, for whatever reason, it looks like some negative thinking could be happening. And, you might have a predisposition to kind of, having a pessimistic perspective at this time. So, it's normal to be a little bit cynical or pessimistic from time to time. Although, it's not really good to let yourself stay in that kind of energy. It can be toxic if you stay in it for too long. And it really doesn't serve you in the long run. So what this means is that you may be a little bit disconnected from yourself because your thoughts, negative thoughts and pessimistic thinking isn't necessarily real. It's just a frame. It's just a perspective that you choose to view the world through. And this lens of pessimism can be changed out for a more positive lens, a more optimistic lens of the world. It's just about which lens you choose to view the world through at this time. Now, you will, like I said, be more likely to think negatively about stuff, but don't let that be the whole of your week, of this time in your life. Make sure you find time to do things that truly bring you enjoyment, that make you feel very positive. Spend time around even people that make you feel really good and really happy. The Cloud isn't a bad card. It's just saying that, there's just a little bit of negative thoughts running around, kind of prominent at this time, and so just maybe get a handle on it, reconnect to yourself, and connect with things that kind of keep you in a good mental space and keep you happy. And I think by doing so, you'll be able to circumvent a lot of the excessive negative thinking that can come when we see cards like the Cloud appear in our readings. So the third card in your reading is the Return. Now, the Return is a very good card if you're able to work with its energies. What does this mean? The Return is about healing the past. Now, when the Return comes up, we may be feeling very regretful. We might be having a preoccupation with the past. We might be overthinking about things relating to the past. We might be ruminating over negative events that occurred in the past. And even if the events that we're thinking back and remembering aren't necessarily negative, they're more like shoulda, coulda, wouldas. Like maybe if I had done this differently, or maybe I should have seized this opportunity, or even, I wonder what would have came of my life if I went down this path instead of this path, if I had chosen to go out with this person instead of this person. The Return is about things from the past coming back. And I don't feel like it usually means people from the past returning into your life physically. It's more like old issues from the past occurring again. Things that you thought you dealt with from the past coming back up to, be looked at and examined again. So when the Return comes, the past is returning into our lives. And it's good to keep in mind that we don't want to let our past define our future. The past is important to us and helps shape us to be the people that we've become today. But it's important not to let the past affect the present in such a way that it kind of keeps us hostage. It keeps us from becoming who we're meant to become in the future. Another thing to take from the Return card is that when we start to think about the past too much, we can kind of go astray off of our future paths, our trajectory that we're supposed to be taking. So if you've gone astray off of your path due to negative thinking or kind of dwelling too much on the past, then this is a good sign that you're probably going to be returning back onto your path. This is a good card because it's a card that gives you the opportunity for healing and really letting go of emotional baggage. Sometimes it's baggage that you thought you had already let go of, but you didn't. Or sometimes it's baggage that was already dealt with, but it turns out there was a bit more of it that you kind of missed the first time. So with the Return, we are being given the opportunity for a lot of very profound self-growth and letting go some of the bonds from the past. So the third week of December, we are letting go of things, from our past and not letting those things really define our future. So that way when we move forward into the future, we have less things holding us back, holding us down, and weighing on us. We're more lighter and we're more clear. The fourth week of the month for you, Gemini, we have the card which is the Time. Now, the Return of the Time sometimes can be confused because they have similar artworks. The Time is a card of memory, and it's a card of thinking about the time you spend doing different kinds of things. It can also have to do with fearing the future. So the Return is a preoccupation with the past. The Time can sometimes be a worry about the future. So, the Time card is about, fearing the future, needing to be present and grounded in the current. The Time is a card about fearing the future and needing to be present and grounded in your current life. When the Time appears, we might be having a lot of chronic worrying, we might be feeling a lot of anxiety, and, a little bit even dread about the future. It's not to say that we have any reason to really think something bad is going to happen, but sometimes we don't know, and it's just that unknown factor that kind of gives way to a little bit of worry, a little bit of unease. So we could just be having negative worrying and kind of assuming the worst might happen in this last week. There are maybe things we're working on, things we're working towards, events that are coming up, and we're kind of like, oh, what if this happens? What if this goes wrong? What if this happens? And, you don't want to do that, obviously. But if you start to do that, which you may because the Time is appearing, then it's important to just, Notice that you're thinking this way. Take a moment and ground yourself. Be present in yourself. And remember that the future has not happened. The future is not set in stone. The future has yet to occur. And what you're feeling are negative projections that you're projecting onto events that haven't even happened yet. With the time, we are given the opportunity to turn anxiety into optimism. We're able to utilize all of the things that we've learned. We're able to honor our past and move forward. And we're able to really learn from the past when we came to worrying. So sometimes when we worry about things and then it comes to pass, it turns out it wasn't really that bad. And so it's important to remember things like that when we're experiencing chronic worrying. The time also has a secondary meaning, and I feel like both apply in this reading. The secondary meaning is that you're ready. The time has come. And what it means is that if there's something that you've been wanting to do, something you've been wanting to try, but you feel like you're not ready, you feel like you don't know enough, you feel like you don't have the experiences you need to prepare you for it, the time is saying that you are ready. And that time is now. That time has come. You're wise, you're ready. You've learned from your experiences. You've learned from your past. Your wisdom and your logic outweigh your unnecessary worries. It's a very positive card. It's a very positive way to end out the month. You have a lot of healing. You have a lot of opportunities for growth. And I think that this month will be very, very positive for you, Gemini. I really, really do. I think this is going to be a really good month for you. And I'm curious what you'll do with it. What you'll do with all of these very profound opportunities for self-growth and self-mastery. So with that being said, that is all I see for you, Gemini, for the month of December 2022. If you like this reading and would like your own personalized reading, then I have a link to my Etsy shop in the description below, where you can get your own larger reading of 9 cards, personalized monthly reading, as well as other kinds of readings. So just head over to my link down below, head over to my Etsy shop and have a look around. You might like what you find. Thank you so much for watching, Gemini, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.